Hey everyone, it's Dan, MagnumDB again, and I'm going to do a follow-up video explaining how to get custom colors for your hot cue points. Now this applies if you always know that cue point A is going to be one color, B is going to be this color, so whatever color you choose, as long as A is the same color for all of your tracks, B is whatever color you've chosen, but it's the same for all the tracks, etc. through C, D, E, F, G, and H. This is how to quickly get all of your tracks to have, in my instance, green for A, yellow for B, pink for C, red for D, green for E, yellow for F, pink for G, red for H. The reason I do it this way, just in case you're curious, is I want the first four, I break them up into two sections, and the first four are for the start of the track, and the last four are starting down to where I want to end my mix. So if I want a double drop, I know that the incoming track will hit D when the outgoing track hits H. And that's how I know if I want to mix. If I'm only ready to mix by the time the track is on F, then I know my incoming track can start on B. I just match the colors. That's why I have it this way. That's why there's two of each. But you can have different colors across the board if you want. So I just wanted to make that clear. So right now, as you see, all the tracks that I have, all the tracks in this playlist have their cue points set, their hot cue points set, and they're all the default bright neon green. What you want to do is make your changes to a single track, and I've done that on this one, Field by Prisoners of Technology. So I have that one track because we're going to need to remember that. So the first thing you want to do to prep for all of everything that we're going to do is open up your preferences, either this little gear icon or Rekordbox preferences, however you want to do it. Go to Advanced Database, and it should say for you, I think, Rekordbox. I've done so many different weird things back and forth, all sorts of crazy stuff that I've done all sorts of different things. So mine right now is called All. It's okay if you have Rekordbox. Whichever one it is, you're going to have an XML. And this XML will represent your entire Rekordbox library. Every track that you have, every playlist, every smart playlist, it's all going to be in this one XML file. So just know which one it is. Mine says All, but yours can say Rekordbox. You're also going to want to go to View and Layout. And you're going to want to have the Rekordbox XML checked. Now see, this is where leaving the XML named the original Rekordbox would make sense. You can keep everything straight because the preference is called Rekordbox XML. But either way, you're going to want to have that checked. And if you notice, when you do check it, a little icon right here, this little sheet of paper with the dog ear and little brackets will appear. You're going to need that. Anything else you can have checked or unchecked. It doesn't matter for what we're doing here anyway. We want to check the Rekordbox XML. So those are the two things you want to do. Now I happen to be in a playlist that I've called To Tag, so I can just kind of isolate all the tracks that I need to work on and get them done. And now they are done. All my other tracks are done already, but I have these tracks left to go. So we're going to export the Rekordbox XML, which again will include every single track that Rekordbox has. Not just in my To Tag playlist, but everything. But that's fine. It's okay. So we're going to go to File, Export Collection in XML format. And it would say rekordbox.xml where the Rekordbox XML is stored by default. Because I've been playing around with stuff, I've just moved stuff to my Documents folder. You can put it anywhere. It doesn't matter. And you can name it whatever you want. It doesn't matter. So I've called it all.xml, and it's in my documents. Fine, good, we'll hit save. And it's going to replace what I already have. That's fine. Now you're going to want to open that XML in any sort of text editor that allows you to find and replace. I'm just going to use my very simple text edit. It's about as simple as you can get. You're also going to want to have a document open, whether it's another text edit or in my case it's in Notepad. You're going to want to have another blank document. Now I already have this filled out, but it will be blank for you, and I'm going to explain what you want to do. Find the one track that you have that's already been colorized. In my case, it was the Prisoners of Technology track. We'll go back to Rekordbox actually. The track we had colorized was a song called Feel by Prisoners of Technology. So we're going to find that in the XML. You're going to want to start from here down to here. I'm not sure why it says position mark up here. It might be because we do have a marker here. We do have a memory point. So that might be what that is. If we don't have that memory point, that might go away. Let's actually try that. I'm going to remove that. Export it again. Replace it. Okay, so here we are. We have reloaded it back up. Now it does appear like the only things that are here, the only position marks, are our hot cues. So keep that in mind, that if you have a memory cue, not a hot cue, but a memory cue, the red triangle, you're going to see an extra position mark at the top. But regardless, this is the area we're focusing on. Again, the start time will be different for you because it will be wherever you placed that hot cues. And 0 through 7 represents hot cues 1 through 8. I don't know why it doesn't say 1 through 8, why they choose to have it say 0 through 7. Maybe that's a programming thing. I don't know why. It's a little confusing to me, but it is what it is, so we're going with what it shows. And these are the colors. These are my custom colors that I had. And again, your colors will look different. Either way, however it looks for you, all you want to do is start, if you want to copy as little as possible, the position mark name equals quote type quote 0 start, that's all irrelevant. We don't need that. We just need starting from the first number all the way down to the last number's color and copy it. Now over here, I've simplified it tons. I'll actually just create a new document. So we've pasted everything. Now to make it as simple as possible, and because changing the colors the start time doesn't matter for the colors, you can erase a whole bunch of stuff starting from here all the way to here. You can erase all of that stuff. All we care about is the number and then red, green, and blue. Now this shifted down a little bit. I guess that was how it turned out when I made the type bigger and stretched out the window. I'm not going to mess with the indentation and all that stuff. So again, we will start at the number 2 here and just delete everything before that. Delete. Grab everything before number 3 and delete. Grab everything before number 4 and delete. I thought about editing down this video, but I'm actually just going to let you see every single step of the way here. Unless I make a mistake and I'll edit that out, but there we go. So aside from the first one, which has the blue is not down some for whatever reason, I don't know. That's what you're gonna have. That is your new numbers. Now, if you want, you can hit return a few times and drop it down a little bit. The next thing you are going to do is find the equivalent of this for any of the tracks that you haven't colored yet, which would be all the rest. Now, since I have a lot of ones that are already colored, I'm just going to go back here real quick and look for a track that's green. All right, molecular, fine. So I'll look for that specifically. Okay, so here is molecular. And here's all of our position markers, 1 through 8, or in coding, 0 through 7. Again, confusing. These are all the default green colors, and the code for it is red is 40, green is 226, and blue is 20. We're going to copy all of that and now paste it right over here. Now again, we can delete all the redundant stuff that we don't have to worry about. Everything before num equals quote 0, whatever. So I'll highlight, delete. Highlight everything from number 1 and delete. Now while I'm doing this, I just want you to know that everything we're doing now, we're only going to have to do once. So when it comes to future tracks, if you get more tracks and you have a whole batch of them, a whole new batch that you want to colorize, everything we're doing now, you're not going to have to do again. Now I'm going to label these so I don't get them confused, even though it's obvious by the numbers in the colors. I'm going to call this my new colors. I'll call this original colors, just so it's a little bit easier to remember, I guess. So here's the beautiful thing. Now for me, my original colors for 1 and 4, I just kept them as the green, so there's nothing I'm gonna have to do. So I'm actually just gonna skip to the second hotkey color, although for everyone else, you would probably want to start on the first one. And what you'll do from this point on is every time you export your XML from Rekordbox and open it up in your simple text editor, go to this document here where you've saved this coding, copy the first one, which is number equals 1, which is technically hotkey B. We're going to search for it. Now there's the first result in yellow, but you'll see all the way over here in 56, it has 56 hotkey B or hotkey 2 that it's found that are still green. So we're going to make changes to 56 hotkey points in a second here. We're going to then copy the fixed version of it. So that was the original. That's what we searched for. And we're going to replace it with this. I'm going to click on the replace here. Now it says replace it with what? We want to replace it with the correct color. And I'll hit replace all. And it just replaced 56 of them. Now we are going to do the same for every other hotkey color. Now to be even faster, we actually don't even need to copy anything else in the original colors. What we can do is just move right down to the next custom color that we did, paste it into the replace field, make sure you've highlighted everything in the replace field, and delete it. Highlight and delete everything that was originally there. Now we're going to paste the new color. This is for hotkey 3 or C. And we can see it says it's num2. So in the find, I just have to switch the 1 to a 2. And it found 80 of them. Oh no, it found 89 of them. And we'll replace all. There you go. Now I'm just going to go through and do numbers 3 through 7, or hotkeys 4 through 8. So confusing. Again, I'm going to change in the find field. I'm just going to change that to a 3. It found 60. I'll do all. In fact, before I even copy and paste anything, I can just change this to a 4 now. Now that we've done the replace, it found a bunch, because all of mine, every track is green. So I'm actually just going to move right on to 5, but you would do 4. Okay, there's 5. There's 73 tracks where the number 5 hot cue is green. I'll grab that number 5, copy it, make sure everything is highlighted and deleted, the old stuff. Hit paste, and we'll replace all. We're going to change this to the 6 now. Highlight everything from 6. Make sure everything's deleted before we paste in the new stuff. Paste all. And then change the last one to number 7. Highlight everything, delete everything, and paste everything. Oops. Place all. Now that you have searched for and replaced each cue point for every single track, hit Command S or File Save, save it all, go back to Rekordbox. Nothing will have changed yet because Rekordbox has not loaded in that new XML data. To load in the new XML data, you can click on the little Rekordbox XML icon, even if you've named your XML file all, like I did, or you named it My Awesome XML or My Custom Colors XML, whatever you name it, it doesn't matter. It's going to say Rekordbox XML here. Click on the little refresh. Now, if you had to do this to all your tracks, you can just click on all tracks, and that's every single track you have, all millions of them, and it'll work just fine. But you probably don't want to re-import all your tracks every time you do this. Doesn't take that long to do, but if you want to save as much time as possible, I like to just put the tracks that I need to work on into its own playlist. Like I said, I put it into a little playlist called To Tag. And these are all the tracks that were still all green. Highlight all of them, Command A or File, Select A, right-click, Import to Collection. Now when I do this, it's going to say, hey, I already see all of these tracks. Oh, it didn't. I don't know why. Usually it says we see all these tracks, and you just want to click on ignore that and just go ahead and replace all of them. But that was weird that it didn't do it that time. I'm not sure why. So now we'll go back to you can actually see Cold Hands up here was already loaded into the player, and you can see everything change. But we'll go back to not our XML file. We'll go back to our actual library and our actual playlist in our actual library. And there are all of them color-coded. So I hope that helps. I tried to be much more clear this time and explain everything in more detail and not jump back and forth. So, all right, happy DJing.